Atom Egoyan, Canadian director, filmmaker, always gets us talking on the big screen. Let's talk about The Captive.
Yes, celebrated director. Unfortunately, this one, he kind of strikes out. And The Captive is a thriller set in Ontario in a small town, and it sees Ryan Reynolds as the dad coming to terms with the abduction of his daughter. And this one spans a sort of multi-year time period and jumps confusingly back and forth between different years. Have a look at The Captive.
Do you remember that brush that she used to love?
Yeah.
Well, I just found one.
All right, what's going on? Ideas?
There's a kidnapper, and there's a watcher.
Now, Thor, this was a movie that was, what, 4 years in the making, got panned at the Cannes Film Festival, didn't even make TIFF this year. What is the saving grace with Ryan Reynolds and crew on the silver screen?
There isn't much, to be honest, Riaz. I mean, the cinematography is beautiful. It's very crisp and cold and detached, sort of, you know, keeping with that theme. And it's nice to see Ryan Reynolds come out of his comedic comfort zone and do something dramatic. Unfortunately, though, the characters are never complex enough for any of the actors, and it's a great cast, enough for them to sink their teeth into any kind of meaty role. I have to admit, though, I was engaged in the story. I wanted to see where it went, but it eventually succumbed to this sort of cheesy, made-for-TV Canadian kind of movie with a CSI twist. And it's an already preposterous plot that gets really bizarre towards the end, and there's no tension because they show you where the girl is sort of right off the bat. She's being held captive in a basement, and again, as I mentioned before, the time jumps in the movie are often very confusing. I was left scratching my head thinking, okay, is this present day, or are they sort of recounting the past when this young girl was actually abducted? So unfortunately, I think about Atom Egoyan's movies, and you know, you got Sweet Hereafter, Exotica, and this one barely holds a candle to any of those, so big disappointment for The Captive.
You had me at CSI twist, buddy. How many hammers for The Captive?
Two out of 5, unfortunately, for this one.
Okay, 2 out of 5 to start us out. Now we're going to switch and have a genre mashup, the zom-rom-com-dram, all 4 in 1, Life After Beth.
Yeah, this is very interesting. Stars Aubrey Plaza from Parks and Recreation. And this is an interesting little twist on the zombie genre. And it takes it from the perspective of what if your girlfriend passed away and then came back to life inexplicably? And that's essentially what happens here. Dane DeHaan, who's great, he played the Green Goblin in the Spider-Man sequel, The Amazing Spider-Man. They have a lot of great romantic chemistry in this movie, and it examines a lot of interesting themes in terms of adult relationships, family. What would it be like if someone you loved actually came back from the dead, essentially? It's got a great sort of alternative soundtrack. There's some edge to this one. It's never laugh out loud funny like Shaun of the Dead, but it does have some interesting moments despite it being this sort of tired old zombie premise.
You know, looking at it and looking how ambitious it is with all of these genres, it kind of reminds me of a new age take of Zombieland. How many hammers would you lay down on this one, Thor?
Yeah, that's a very good comparison to Zombieland, although it's not as funny, but I could see this one having a cult film following. It did have some funny moments, but it did also balance the drama with the actual zombies really well, and it got a little too Walking Dead in the end, though. That's kind of what lost it for me, but I can overall recommend Life After Beth. I'm going to go 3 out of 5.
Okay, Life After Beth, the clear winner for us this week, and thanks for a look at the movies.